Hello everybody, this is Josh X Play Place, and today we continue to grow, expand and improve our city of New Paris in Cities Skylines 2 in this episode number 14. And the Netherlands region pack was just released, so let's explore it. Enjoy. And this is of course not New Paris, but we're gonna use this little town to plop down our buildings and that way not spend money from our budget over there at New Paris. So let's begin, and we are going to begin with the roads. There's really nothing in here in all of these that was added for New Paris except for three different parking garage. They have different capacities, they look really cool, and they will definitely add to more variety into your city, especially because of the size. I think that there's sometimes some areas where the size is just kind of weird, kind of odd, and maybe this will help. It has 205 stalls for vehicles, and I think that's great. This one has 125, and this one has 61. So overall, I think that they're gonna work great in your city. As for electricity, we only have a substation, the Netherlands substation, which we're gonna place right here so you can take a look at it. And we're definitely going to connect it into the grid. So we're gonna go here,
right here, everybody. This is your host,
and then
Liz
here,
Peterson, and you're listening to
and that should do the
the
trick.
Atmospheric Piano Channel.
Again, these ones have no upgrades, but this one does. The substation has a fiber optics box. So first of all, if we go in here into the telecom, you'll notice that there's no internet service.
Isn't that going to be costly, Mr. Councilman?
And then after we choose the upgrade, we have a really good radios, which is basically what these little radio masts or radio towers will do, right? They just have a smaller footprint, and they actually also help as the electricity substation. So I think that's actually a pretty cool deal. And this building looks really nice. I believe that it will blend especially into any industrial and commercial and office areas, or any little downtown. This does look like a downtown building. Now we're gonna go into the water and sewage, and now we have the Netherlands Water Tower, and it also works as a tourist attraction. So let's take a look at it. There are no upgrades into it, and the water output compared to the pumping station is maybe 1/5, less than 1/5, but it looks really nice. And again, we can take a look at our showing here, but apparently it doesn't, but there's attractiveness in here, so that's actually pretty cool. Maybe like one of those old towers in the city, so that's gonna work great. So let's go with healthcare, and first we have the small medical clinic, and we also have the larger hospital. First, we'll take a look at the little medical clinic. It's a really nice 4x6 squares. It offers no upgrades, but as you can see in here, this one has 2 ambulances. That's pretty cool. Again, it's a very small footprint. It looks rather modernish, definitely minimalistic, but I think it works great. But we also have this larger hospital, and that hospital has, as you can see here, 7 ambulances and a capacity for 300 people as opposed to 25 people on the little clinic. Of course, you build this depending on the area and depending on your population. This hospital does have 2 upgrades. One of them is this hospital extension wing, which adds 8 ambulances and a capacity for 350 people. So now we have a capacity for 650. And it also has the cardiology annex, right? Which adds a capacity for 45 people and looks pretty cool. So I think it's gonna work really well into any town, any city, especially if you're building with the Netherlands region. Now we're gonna go into garbage management, and we don't have anything in here. But I forgot, let's go to death care. And with death care, I think we have one of the coolest new additions into cities Skylines 2. First of all, let's add this crematorium. So we're gonna put it, let's put it in here. Again, this is not a city that we're gonna play. Again, very European looking crematorium or building. It has the additional car parks, which again, you can add as many as you can in here, which I think is pretty cool, right? But we have, I think, one of the coolest additions into this game, and that is the Netherlands cemetery. So let's just read a little bit. It is a fully modular cemetery complex which will be the centerpiece of death care in any Dutch city. The cemetery facility can be physically expanded via various modules offering different features. Some modules can auto-snap to each other with pavement pads. It adds well-being, recreation, a capacity for over 3,200 people, and 12 hearses. But let's build it. And you're gonna say, well, this doesn't look that big, right? And you know, it already has a large capacity, but the upgrades, and I think this is the biggest thing with this expansion pack, this region pack, and it's gonna add a lot into any city. Why? Because you have all of these upgrades, and so we're gonna start doing it or building them one by one, as you can see in here. So let's do that. Let's place it here. Again, you know, snapping issues aside. So now we have the crematory. Some of these you have to build a crematorium to build, but I think that's fine. We're gonna have a hearse. And again, look at this radius, it's huge, which means that in theory you can have one of the biggest module buildings, if not the biggest, in cities Skylines 2. So let's build this one here. Right. We can have the small Columbarium variant A. And if you can see in here, you can add it here. You can add another one and another one. We can do the medium one. So let's add one here, and one here. Or you could have the large one, which we're gonna add here and in here. Let's see if we can actually get these two. There you go. Yeah, again, sometimes the pads just as weird, and the game is far from perfect. Okay. So what else do we have? We have the small Columbarium variant B, so we're gonna do it here. That's where it ends. Let's put another one here. We have the burial site circle junction, which we can add one here. And let's add another one here. We have the burial site corner A arch, depending how you want to see it. We have one here, when we're here, and you can already see what's going on, right? Then we have the burial site straight, which we're gonna do one here and one here, one here and one here. We have the burial site circle junction, which I think we're gonna do. We're gonna place one here, place another one here. We have the burial site straight. We have another one, so but it's a bigger one, so we're gonna place one in this area, another one in this area. We have the burial site filler one by one, and this one I think that is just 6962. It's just putting in here. It also adds capacity, which is great, right? We have the small pond, which I think we can place here, and sure, why not? We have the burial site corner, which again, this is where it ends, and let's end this one here too. We have a large pond, which I think this one's giving us issues because, of course, let's place it here. We have the House of Remembrance. This one is unique, so I'm guessing you can only place one, correct? And we have the auditorium. This one, let's just place it here, and we'll add this one here. So I don't think it's gonna work. There you go. And let's add just a little row. And there you go. Not perfect, doesn't have to be. I just want to show you how amazing this is. Let's take out all of that and look at what an amazing asset that developers created. An asset that can grow, very similar to what SimCity 2013 did with the parks and plazas. But this takes it to a whole new level. Basically, you can create one of those really old cemeteries that have, that some of the older cities have, and you can grow it and grow it and grow it again. Let's take a look at it. You can grow it and grow it and grow it very, very, very largely and far away. Again, this might be, spoiler alert, my favorite asset from this new release. I do think it's amazing and definitely something that you have to place in your city. And I feel like it works great. Let's just move this really quick. I feel that it's working great because the asset that we have for the, again, nobody's gonna play with this one, so we're fine. Because the asset that we have for the cemetery is just too big. And I don't mean that it's big, that it's unrealistic. It's big, but it really doesn't allow for expansion that's really realistic, right? And this one completely blew my mind. Now you're gonna say, maybe it can grow organically. So maybe we can have something like this, like the landfill, right? Or like any of the agricultural sites where you can actually start growing and growing a little bit more. I don't see why also that couldn't be an option. But for now, this is just gonna make a great addition to any town, especially if you want to make smaller cities, smaller towns, or have them have like this like older part of town, the downtown. So I just think that this is the best asset in here. We're gonna continue with education. So there's 4 buildings. You have the elementary school that's gonna house 1,000 students. You have the high school that's gonna house 2,500 students. You're gonna have the college auditorium that's gonna house 750 students. And also the university that's gonna house 5,000 students. Right, so first of all, let's take a look at this elementary school. Right now it houses 1,000. We have 2 upgrades, which is the playground, right? That doesn't add capacity, but it adds well-being. And we have the extension wings, and the extension wings can be placed in here, and they add 500, a capacity of 500 students per building. And again, I think these work really nice. They're definitely something that has high capacity and that works well within a city, especially if you're trying to do a European style city. I'm assuming too, right? Now we have the high school. From its 2500 student capacity, we're gonna add another extension wing, or we're gonna add an extension wing that's gonna add 750 students, or a capacity for 750. And we're gonna add the rooftop chemistry lab, which adds well-being and health, with a student capacity of 250. So overall, we can expand this high school to 3,500 students, which is pretty cool. And again, it looks really nice. Definitely a building that I would put in my city. And let's move this one a little bit more. Let's put it here. And now we have this little college auditorium. Has only capacity for 750 students, and there's no upgrades. And I think this is gonna work great. And it reminds me of that building that Cities Skylines one has, with that, I think it's either a college or a university that's really small and that's capacity, but that's good because you might want to have a little university building in an area where there's mostly low density, so that I think that's gonna work great. And now we have with this university, which I do like the way it looks. It already has a capacity for 5,000 students, and we're gonna add auditoriums, which are gonna add a capacity or increase the capacity by 1,500, which it makes also this building look great. And we have the research library, which also looks rather nice. Any of these buildings, I think that especially if you're doing a European style city, they're gonna work great. Even if you're not, these I believe look great. And seeing them all this way, they all make sense. They all work together pretty well, because you can see the style in all of them. Let's do the fire and rescue. We have two types of buildings. So we have this small fire station, which we're gonna place here, and we have the larger fire station. The first one has a capacity of 2 engines and the other one of 5, but with higher pollution. So this one doesn't have any updates, but I like the fact that it's 4x4, so it's a really small one. I know there's some other that are smaller. For example, the one that I like, the Northeast, which is like the Ghostbusters fire station. But again, sometimes you don't want to have tall buildings because they don't work together with what you're designing around them. And we also have this larger station, which can be upgraded with extra vehicle bays, which you can see in the back, which we're going to do, and with a helipad, which we're going to have in here. And honestly, I do feel like this looks amazing. This looks pretty good. I do feel like this is more modern, so it might clash a little bit with whatever style you're doing, but definitely I would put this in my town, and if Lego can make something similar to this, I would appreciate it. Right, there's nothing else in here in terms of disasters. And we have only one police station, which we're gonna place. Let's place in here. It might look a little bit less modern than this large fire station, but again, it looks very European style. I'm assuming this means police. Right, if you can look at it, it just looks really nice. All of them are really nicely detailed. Where they're going, they're just patrolling, that's great. And this one also has upgrades. We have the investigation unit, which adds a capacity for 4 more people in jail and 4 patrol cars. And as you can see, and that's gonna be in here. And it adds a nice lunch area at the top. And we can also add an administrative wing, which adds more jail capacity and more patrol cars. Right, so that's gonna be towards the back. And that's gonna take away some of this area. And again, I do feel like this looks great. Unfortunately, there's no helipad, but that can be done with another police station. But overall, I do feel like this can work really well. Maybe we add a pedestrian park in here. It's gonna be great. And maybe if we add, this is too big, and this one, and maybe let's add a little. Is this too small? Yeah, so let's add this one and this one here. There you go. Right? I think it works. It works even better. In terms of transportation, there's nothing on roads or basically buses. For train, we do get a train station, which let's see where we can build it. Let's build it here. And again, it looks very, very nice. I do feel like I've been to a similar train station. It has no expansions, no upgrades, and you can have up to 6 lines stopping here basically, which, and again, this looks really nice. It has the base for the buses, and I think it's working really, really again. This is the only building that we have in here. For trains, there's nothing for trams, nothing for subway, nothing for water, and nothing for air. So let's see what we have in terms of parks. And we have what I think one of the most interesting, one of the coolest additions also to this, and it is the Holland Heritage windmills. Basically a nice windmill, and it adds recreation, attractiveness, and not only does it actually work, but you can upgrade it with a gift shop and small cafe, which will add indoor recreation. So again, you have the outdoor recreation, and if you add the upgrade, you can get indoor recreation. And I think this is pretty cool. I do believe this is, again, one of the best additions in here. Right? It looks just amazing. In terms of post, we also have 2 different buildings, and one of them which we're gonna place in here, and the other one that we're gonna place in here. So the first one is the historical post office building. That's a unique building, and we also have the regular post office. So let's take a look at the historical one, which again looks rather nice. It definitely looks very European, and we'll repeat this a lot. It looks great. I think that it looks really, really nice. And the upgrade that it has is the city museum, which adds attractiveness citywide and indoor recreation, as well as more capacity, right? Storage and whatnot. And again, you can see in here, it's just amazing. I would definitely love to have a couple of years in this little, well, not little, but this really nice historical building. And then we have the regular post office, which has a capacity, again, good capacity. It's small enough, so I think that's gonna work really, really well. I think I jumped, right? There's nothing in here for large parks, sports parks, large sports parks. There is no tourist attractions or landmarks. And in here, again, there's nothing that would make a difference. What we have is all these zones, right? Which we'll work on them in just a little bit. We have nothing for signature buildings, right? We have nothing for mixed use buildings. Let me just make sure, yeah. I forgot, I confused the NE with the NL. We have no commercial buildings, no industrial buildings, and unfortunately, no office signature buildings. So overall, that's what you get. These are the new buildings that you get from a really, really cool post office to a really, really cool fire station to a really, really nice police station to a really nice water tower to a really nice windmill to a nice train station to what I think is the best addition, which is this modular cemetery. Definitely, definitely the crown jewel for this expansion pack. And now let's zone some zones in our city of New Paris. Now that we have explored the ploppable buildings such as police department, fire department, schools, and so on and so forth, now we can explore the only new zones that are available for this game, right? And of course, we don't have anything for office or industries or commercial zones. We only have for residential, and oddly enough, and I do not understand this, we don't have a mixed zone, right? A commercial and residential zone. We don't have that, which completely makes no sense. But we have 2 low density zones, 2 medium density zones, and 1 high density zone, which is low rent. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a little neighborhood in here, and we're doing this first so that we can take a look at how we can do our zones. And basically what I mean is how wide we can have our zones be in order for whatever we zone to be actually looking nice. So we're gonna do a zone that has a 4 square depth. We're gonna do one that has 5. We're gonna do one that has 6. And we're gonna do one that has 7. And we're gonna do one that has 8. But of course, we need to make this a little bit bigger because we're gonna try to use almost every type of residential zone that we have in here. So let's first of all take this off, and let's continue doing this. And the reason why I'm doing this type of thing is to show you what's the best way to zone your little new neighborhoods or your new towns, right? Because as opposed to, let's say, SimCity 4, sometimes when you zone too much in here, and by too much I mean more squares in depth than possible, you end up with a lot of space in between. For example, like in here there's a lot of space, even though this is, kind of different. but you can see that sometimes there's a lot of space. So let's start so that you can see what I mean. Again, let's choose the Netherlands. And first we're gonna zone for the low density gable roof housing, which is a Dutch style single household house with gable roof. So we're gonna do the 4, the 5, the 6, the 7, and the 8. We have the low density gambrel roof housing. And we're gonna zone again the 4, the 5, the 6, the 7, and the 8. We have the medium density row housing. We have the medium density housing. And we also have the low rent housing, right? So let's just wait a little bit and see what we can do while we also see what's going on the back. Okay, so we are seeing right now that a lot of stuff is being built and it's looking rather nice. So first of all, let's start taking a look at all the new styles and buildings. I do like these low density houses. I think they work really well. As you can see here, this is a 3 square in depth house, and this is another 3, and we have 2. And in here, as you can see, there's nothing being built, so I'm guessing that we cannot have only a 1x1 tile house, which, you know, it's okay, I guess. Let's take a look at these ones. And again, I just love the detail that the designers put into this. They look very, very nice. For those of you that live in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam, in all those areas, really nice places, if they actually look similar to what you would see or what you actually live in. So this is one of them. Now we're going into the second one, and of course you can already see the difference from this building and this building on the roof, right? You can already see it here. And seeing that this, I also believe that these look rather nicely. It still it makes sense that, of course, you know, 2 units are together, but I would like to see more units that are only 1 tile wide, right? Because you have them here, you just have 2 of them together. Looks really good. We also have these medium density row houses, which I'm just gonna say right now, this might be the highlight of this Netherlands creator pack. I do think these look amazing. I do feel like I've passed through some of them when I had the fortune to visit Amsterdam, and these just look amazing. Completely amazing. Now we have the regular medium density, which I do feel like these are not gonna be everybody's cup of tea. I think that especially people that haven't visited the areas or Europe, they might not understand these medium density buildings. I do feel that they work great on a game like City Skylines 2. They work great in real life. And also we need to look and take advantage not only for these buildings, but of the backyards and the back of the building. Sometimes we just ignore that. We just look at them in front and that's it. But again, since Europe seems to have a cool areas on the back of the buildings, more like little patios or whatnot. I think this also helps a lot, right? I would definitely want to live in a place like this. Now, for those of you that might not like this, it might be because there's a lot of brick, right? Not that we don't have brick here in the United States, but I think that brick is not being used as much as it used to back, 70, 80 years ago. So that might be why some people might not enjoy these designs. I do think they look nice. It's like a more modern version of the old styles, right? These look great. And we also have these low rent, high density buildings. And I do think that they also look really, really cool. Let's see. This one has 14 households. This one has 33. Definitely high density. And I do feel that these also look really good. Again, I don't think it's something that I would like overall, but I think that they make sense in the region pack that they're at. And definitely, I don't think anybody would design something that doesn't match what, like the buildings or the areas that the Netherlands have, right? So I don't think this is something that's not real or something that's just made up. So I think that overall, I do believe that these are really nice buildings. I definitely 100% will gear towards doing another little riverside town with these Netherlands row housing buildings. They just look amazing. Honestly, I do feel like the detail is there. For those of you that have gone there, they look very, very similar. They just look really, really nice. And congratulations to the people that designed this. They really did a great job. And that's because, of course, we're not playing the game with the best computer resources. So if they look good in here, I'm sure they're gonna look even better with a better graphics card, right? So what are we doing here? Like I mentioned, I wanted to show you, because I also wanted to learn how would be the best configuration for you to lay down roads for your blocks and your neighborhoods. And here we see that there's 4 little block styles in depth. We have 5 in here, 6, 7, and 8. I feel like the 4 tile in width for these blocks is perfect. Perfect for the low density, perfect for the medium density row housing. Also really good for the medium density, and I think it's gonna also work well for the low rent, high density. So I think that's gonna be the most or the best way to lay down your blocks, having only 4 tiles in between roads, because that allows for buildings that are 2 tiles in depth to be placed on either side of the road, that's something that I hope they can improve later. We also have the 5 tiles in depth, and everything seems to be fine. We do have the buildings that are 3 tiles in depth. We also had one here, I think. Yeah. And so this actually also look good. You have a little alley on the back, but I kind of don't like to see something like this. And the 6 tile in depth, as you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it's very similar to the 5. It leaves even more space in between, which I personally don't like. Again, I don't like to see that. So that's 6. I don't think I'm gonna be using, at least for the low density. You can see it in both low densities, right? They're not they're not completely filling the three little tiles. And now we have the 7th tile, and as you can see, this is more of a little bit of, I'm not gonna say a mess, but it leaves a lot of space in here. And sure, you can say, well, I can add some apple trees in here. Sure, maybe. It doesn't really work the way that SimCity 4 does, right? That you can actually place trees on buildings. I wish, all of them did that. And definitely the 8th tile in depth, or in between these two streets, it's something that I wouldn't want to have in my city, right? I don't think it looks well. I think there's a lot of space in here, and when you're trying to make better looking cities, I don't think that this makes a great looking city. Again, you can try to add trees, sure, right? You can do that, but I personally don't think that that's something that I would want to have in my city. Especially maybe for the southwest buildings, sure, the regular low density ones that we have, sure, but I don't think this works really well with this Netherlands region pack, especially because, of course, we're talking about countries that are that tend to be densely populated, and so there wouldn't be that much space, in my opinion, in between them. So now let's look at the row housing. Again, I think these are my favorite buildings for this region pack. These look great. So we're looking at the 4 tiles between streets, so this fits in perfectly. We're looking at the 5 tiles between streets. This also looks great. Every single space has been filled. We're looking at the 6 tiles between streets. Also, I don't think we have one that hasn't been filled. We have some that have a little bit too much space, but I think that's fine. I don't think that's an issue. Again, great looking buildings, in my opinion. We have the 7 tiles in between roads, in between streets, and we're already seeing a lot of space in here. And this is the 8 tiles in between, which also leaves a lot of space in between. I don't think this would be a big of a deal if somehow the game would understand that this would be like a big patio, a shared patio for all of these. Maybe it would fill it out. I mean, you can do it if you want to. You can do the surface. Let's do the grass surface, and we can try to do it in here, even though I don't think it's working that well. So let's try to do it like here. Sure, like you can try to do that. Maybe even here. And maybe this little... oh, I think I messed it up. And I think it's worse. Okay, so there you go. You can maybe try to do that and maybe try to fill things up. I personally don't want to do that. Oh, it's only one. I personally don't want to do that. You can do it, of course. It's up to you. And right, this looks not that bad, but I don't think it looks realistic, especially because we don't have fences in here. I think if we had fences, things would be a little bit more realistic. Which, yeah, I don't know why we don't have any fences in here. So again, ideally 4 or 6. I don't know how 5 is gonna, mess things up, but either 4, 5, or 6 tiles between roads, or basically no more than 3 tiles in depth for these buildings. They just work really great, right? As you can see in here. And if you have this by a canal that we don't have in here, unfortunately, but we'll try to figure something out. Then I don't see why we don't have mixed zones buildings, right? So that's kind of weird. Now we go into the regular medium density residential zones. We have the 4 tiles between streets, which looks fine, a little bit cramped, but I think it works well. We have the 5 tiles between roads, and this actually looks pretty good. But in this case, I think the 6 tiles between roads makes the best use of this. And I love to see these little patios in between the streets, and that we have corner buildings for the corners. I think that the game figuring that out works amazing, and it's great. And if you can see in this one, it kind of looks pretty cool because it's not a little bit, it's asymmetrical. That's awesome. It looks great. And now, here's a big complaint. Like, I would understand if I put a little roundabout here, some of these buildings might need to change. But in reality, if you see the difference, I don't see why it would have to be done, right? Especially on this side that you have a lot of space. I would understand if I want to put like the larger one, sure, right? That's gonna mess things up. Maybe even the medium one, kinda, but not the smaller one. And I think that's something that the game needs to figure out. Now we have the 7 tiles in between. Again, there's a lot of empty space. Same thing with the 8 one. So I wouldn't recommend doing this. Of course, maybe if we do 8 and we do one in between, right? Sure, that would work. But then again, the whole thing would be a little bit messy. There you go. That would be perfect. So if you make this mistake, or if you're already like, oh, what can I do? Just put a road in between. You can even put a smaller one, right? Or a pedestrian road. But sometimes with these buildings, with this region pack, I think that we should try to do little neighborhoods with these alley roads, because I feel like they might work a little bit better with the road. So let's try to do that in here. Right, I think that's gonna be part of our experiment, and we can see how this will work. So we don't have that much demand, but let's continue with the high density, low rent buildings. These are not building that much because there's not enough demand, as you can see in here. But definitely the 4 tile space in between roads works great. I think the 5 one might work, but I'm sure there's gonna be a space in between. The 6 already has a space in between. The 7 has even more space, and the 8 has more space, which means that these buildings work better or are more efficient when you only have 4 spaces in between, or only 2 spaces in depth, like 2 little tiles in depth. Because as you can see in here, it's the best way, and you already have enough space in here. So let's try to do that. We're gonna do 4, and just for the sake of it, yeah, let's do it again. Again, we're trying to figure out things, right? Nothing is perfect, and we might not even keep these buildings in here. Okay. So yeah, I do feel like having little alley roads will work better. Not for everything, because of course there's a lot of stuff that you cannot easily or realistically place in there. For example, we can do big bus stops in here. We can barely do the small ones. And as far as I can tell, you cannot do also trams in these little roads, which again might work for you or not, right? And so let's see, we can put a small, I mean, we have a lot of need for education, but let's see, we can do this elementary school here, and we're gonna do the high school here. And this is I feel like this is another issue that the game has. It's sometimes very difficult to rotate the buildings to place them the way that you want to. I don't want to have this building face Bellflower Street or Summerfield Street. I want this to face Cozy Street, and it's difficult. Like, I don't know how to do it. Maybe I'm doing something wrong or not. It's unfortunately, of course, I maybe there shouldn't be any snapping, but at the same time, it can get messy. So we're just gonna put it like this, and we're gonna definitely expand here and here, and if we can fit a little, see the tennis court? No, it's too big. Yeah, there you go. The basketball court and 2 little outdoor gyms. There you go. And this is filling up really nice. As you can see, these designs blend really nicely, so I think it's a great thing. And also this really large high school, which, you know, it's gonna look great in your city, especially also whenever you have a lot of high density buildings, which we don't have that many. Well, we have them in here, but maybe in this area we could place one of these, right? And looking back at our first areas, I kind of don't like this, but it's part of our growth as builders or mayors, right? If we were actually playing SimCity 4, of trying to see how some designs, some layouts work and they don't. Of course, grids are always gonna work. Grids are perfect in terms of distribution and efficiency, but we also have a lot of empty space in here that we actually need to do something in here. We'll figure it out. Right, because we have a lot of cool stuff in here. A large plaza, which we don't have. It says 0 for maintenance. Do we not have a park maintenance? I don't think we do. So let's place one in here. And let's upgrade it. And that's gonna be fine. And we're gonna start seeing trucks, hopefully, right? Yeah, start leaving this, and maybe we can add this road maintenance depot. Sure, why not? And also let's expand. I don't know yet if we're gonna leave this, and let's name it. Here, here, and here. There you go. This is the Netherlands
This is an emergency broadcast to all
neighborhood.
citizens.
A heavy storm is approaching the city. and
Let's
the
try to.
likelihood of hail is very high.
We're gonna keep it like this for now. I think that we're in a good place to simulate this as a canal, or what it is, the river, right? So we might be able to do the key. I think this is gonna work well enough, right? And that way we can have something similar to what we did with this German crossing, which I do believe that it's the best looking area that we have. Definitely. We might want to add these surfaces in here into our French areas, and we have also a German area here. because I think it's gonna work great. So I think that overall, I do believe that the German Crossing is our best looking area. But if we play things right with this Netherlands region pack, and we use this row housing by the waterfront or by the riverfront, I think we're gonna have something great. So overall, what do I think of this region pack? I do feel like it's a great region pack. I feel like it's a great addition to any city, to any buildings. And I do feel that you're gonna enjoy adding, at the very least, this medium density row housing and the regular medium density. Not only that, but the actual cemetery, the modular cemetery that I think a lot of people are gonna do great things with. I personally think that now that you have this region pack, and again it's free, you can download it from the game. I think you're gonna be able to start creating really cool smaller towns, right? I think that sometimes we wanna create these amazing towns with only skyscrapers, but I feel like whenever you have medium density housing, low density housing, we miss a lot by not putting a lot of low density and medium density, especially medium density, because City Skylines does not have medium density. I know we try to cheat the game into having the policy that doesn't allow high buildings, and by also building only, I think one or two, I think it was two tiles in depth, that I think helped. But now that we have medium density, there's no reason why you shouldn't go all the way with it, right? It just works, it looks great, and I think that it's gonna add a lot to your city. And you have new school buildings. I think the high school looks great, especially if you're doing a lot of medium density zones. The cemetery, again, I cannot stress that enough. And the fire department, the large one, that I think looks very, very modern, very, very cool. That's something that should also be in your series. So overall, I think this is another win. It might not be the greatest one. I think that maybe the southwestern one and the northeast ones were, I think, the most complete. And of course, you not only have the schools, the hospitals, fire department, police department, cemetery, you have a hospital, you have a really cool park that, you know what, before we finish, let's place it in here, that you can place, which is really, really, really nice. And you can of course upgrade it. And this water tower, which we're just gonna place in here, right? So those are two things that definitely will work great in your city. It's a great show. And so I want to thank you for watching this video, liking and leaving your comments at the bottom. Don't forget to watch the rest of the series if you haven't, and we'll have more content coming soon next week. We will talk about the state of Cities Skylines at the moment. I kinda was gonna do one, and then this region pack was released, and then I was gonna do another one, and then the news of a new update with more sea industries being expanded was released, or the announcement that's gonna be released in a couple of weeks. And so now that I know there's nothing else coming out until I think the 28th, then I'll make a video of the state of City Skylines now that it's been a while after its release, from the beginning until right now. And again, we need to be fair, we need to be realistic, but one thing that we need to do is to enjoy playing this game if you still enjoy playing it. So play this game, play City Skylines 1, play SimCity 4, SimCity 2023 as we have been doing in here, SimCity 3000, SimCity 2000, SimCity, play the games that you want as long as you enjoy them the way that you enjoy them. You don't have to play like me. You don't have to do grids. You don't have to do curved roads. You don't have to play with a budget. You can do unlimited. You can do unlock everything. You make your own challenge. You make your own enjoyable playtime and games. Again, it's about you enjoying the games, not people telling you how you should enjoy your games. It's up to you. The rules are up to you, and everything is up to you. But again, just play them and enjoy them. So, again, thank you for watching this video. We'll see each other on our next one. Take care.